Hello, what's up, everyone? This is my 2008 ISF, and I wanted to take a moment to do my own little review since there are obviously a good number of them out there. Yes, my business is on the back of the car for advertising purposes because I drive a lot, and there was a reason why I chose the ISF over the C63 AMG, over the M3, over an M5, over the E55 AMG, and that's simply because maintenance costs. I drive approximately 40,000 miles a year. I wanted one of the supercar family Titans, and this was a rare, not thought about too much. I've even met mechanics who don't know what the F's history is and why the ISF was even made, and who its competitors are. So that being said, I want to talk about quickly my journey with this car because there's a lot going on. A lot of guys in the discussion forums on all the different cars out there, talking, asking questions, sharing their experiences, and I'm gonna put my 2 cents in. Externally, on the car, as you can see, I have aftermarket rims. The fronts have 245/30 20s on the front. When I had 245/35s series, that was too much meat on the tire, and it was rubbing the plastics, the fender guard. So when I would turn, going in and out of parking lots, parking or the driveway, so I went down to a 30 series on the front, and that worked out great. So 245/30 20s on the front, and on the back are 275/30 20s on the back. So again, I put this little lip on here, the rubber lip, to kind of cover it because the rim is 10.5 inches wide. So that rim can probably have a 305 put on it and it would sit fine, but obviously that's too big for this car without having to do flare the fenders and do a whole bunch of other body work. So I pushed it to the max limit. I did fender roll some on the rear sides. The fronts didn't need it as much, but it's definitely that. My exhaust system, I have the PPE headers that truly woke the car up. I also have the PPE header back exhaust system. So it's some small resonators in the middle, and then to the mufflers, and then the tips that I have on here are ones that I put on. Those weren't part of the system. I was hoping that they would have been, but they weren't. So I had to get these extension tips to put them on, because again, I had that same problem of the exhaust fumes coming up under the underside of the rear bumper into the trunk of the car and getting into the cabin, and I had taped off those vents that are under the vents on the frame that are under right here on each side. I taped them shut to keep most of it out, but I said, let me just get the exhaust gases out the back where they should be, and that's where I put those tips on. So with the exhaust system, it had some hiccups in the initially getting done. The headers went on fine, great, but when I ordered the original exhaust system, I ordered it with the high flow cats because I am in an emissions county. They showed up without the cats, and of course PPE quickly corrected it, sent me a set, a made set with the cats, and everything went well. In terms of the O2 sensor, the downstream O2 sensor, that did throw a code once I put the high flow cats on. And remember, it took out the original catalytic converters. So I have the tune from RR Racing. So I just popped the hood real quick so I could look. I had to remember for a second. So from RR Racing, which I bought the headers through them, and I bought the exhaust system through Vivid Racing. PPE asked me why I just go on their website and order it. I was just shopping around websites and saw the whole thing. So from RR, I have their tune. I should have gotten their intake, the power pack kit with the headers, intake, and tune. I was trying to be cost minded and piece it together. to save a little bit on the budget, but it makes more sense just to buy the power pack from them, without, because at the end of the day, after you pay for shipping and install and stuff that you don't do or can't do yourself, you may as well just have it all nice and set. So with the tune, that took out, first and foremost, the O2 sensor, downstream sensors, check engine light. So that definitely corrected that. Obviously, it did give the car, a more aggressive driving profile on acceleration and with horsepower and torque as they've done their dynos. So I didn't do their intake, but I do have their carbon fiber elbow that goes onto the stock airbox. Now, I'm running the engine. It's cold here. It's during the winter. I'm in Georgia. It's not super cold, but it's cold enough that I'm good with running the engine. It's not a true cold air intake because it's not fully sealed. But I heat wrapped the tubing as much as possible, and I'm running this during the winter, and then during the summer, I will put the stock box on with the carbon fiber elbow, with the venting deletes. So I have the RR Racing oil catch can on here also, which makes a difference. It definitely changed the profiling of the car. So I vented the crankcases and got the air oil separator from RR, and that's made a distinct difference in the way the car drives. And I empty it with each oil change. I just recently emptied it because I buy my oil, then I take it to Jiffy Lube and let them change it because it updates it into the Carfax report, so that it will add value. When I go to sell the car and pull the Carfax report, they'll be able to see maintenance and upkeep other than me just keeping a personal log. Driving wise, now with the tune, the full exhaust, at least an intake on here, the Lexus tech that did my exhaust work, he basically asked me, we went for the test drive in the car, and he asked me if I have raised a Hellcat yet. And I'm like, no. A Hellcat is not looking my way to even challenge me, yet alone give me the time of day. So, but I ran one down the other day. So we were driving through some back roads, and he took off, and I kept my nose in his ass the whole way. We were on a one lane, each way street, so I wasn't going to try to pass him, but I put my nose in his butt, and he was in a Challenger. Which one? I get them to mix up the Charger and the Challenger. Challenger, the two-door. It's a Challenger. So I put my nose in his butt and I kept it there. Other than that, I've run down 5th gen Camaro SS's on the highway. I've unfortunately beat an RCF. I'm guessing he was stock. We did a roll and go on the highway. He realized real quick that wasn't happening. I ran a 370Z from light to light. So, basically the car performs, it's quick, it's deceptively quick, because you look at it and you think it's a 4-door sedan, you think it's heavy. Well, it's not heavy, it's just under 4,000 pounds. So it's lighter than the Chargers, at least the E55 AMGs. And so a lot of cars that have more power, it's lighter than. So again, it was built to compete with the M3, 08 M3. And of course you can put the CTSV in there. But either way, this car has been a joy to drive. I bought it with 98,000 miles on it. I now have 121,000. I bought the car in August. So I love driving this car. Now that's it, the driving experience. The stock intake and the aftermarket intake, what impressed me the most was the stock intake had a throaty, deep pull sound to it that let you know you're in an ISF. That was something that's distinct for these cars. It's one of the things that really make it stand out. That 2-stage intake that's on it. I know other cars have 2-stage intakes, but this one, it gave you a throaty pull, a throaty sound, and then the second stage opens up and it just pulls more air. It sounds throaty from the front of the car with the regular exhaust on it, and it's like, yes, this is a good driving experience. I got the sound, I got the performance. And then when you actually do the exhaust, oh man, it really does bring the car out. And people, when I start this car at the gas stations, people's heads turn, because what is that over there? It's not a Mustang, it's not a Camaro SS. What is it? You know, a Lexus sounds like that. Yeah, and it's not just the GS models. It's not the LS model. So this car definitely, I got complimented this morning at the gas station, you know, and it's just what it is. The car's beauty. It drives great. My interior is, I need to vacuum it out, so I'm not gonna go inside the car. But this car literally has been fun to drive, fun to tune. I changed the spark plugs on this. There's a video on YouTube with a young guy changing spark plugs on his ISF, and it's like, dudes with big hands, you may not want to do this because of the small space you have to work with. He's right, because for every plug you got to take something out of the way. Plug 2 on both sides, you got to take the damn wheels off to go with an extension through the wheel well to get a universal onto the coil pack, just to get that nut off to take the coil pack out. Unless you get I'm gonna try it with a crow's foot next time and see if that works. Or I'm gonna get an angle, something with more of an angle head, small, to be able to get down in there without having to take the tire off to do that. I'm sure there's a way. I didn't bother looking it up because I just wanted to get it done, so I pulled the tire off each side. The battery has to come out on the passenger side. Obviously the intake not being there is just getting it out of the way, just to have space to move to get the first one off, the first plug off on the passenger side. It's just a bunch of stuff you just got to take out of the way, other than the covers that are on each side. So I did the spark plugs. It took about 4 hours. I'll do them again. I bought those also from RR Racing. So, you know, so at least I have a better quality plug in there. It doesn't matter. You don't have to go from them. You can go from O'Reilly's or AutoZone or whoever your favorite auto part distributor is. And I use them all. And I do a lot of the maintenance. I haven't done the brakes yet, so I did have it inspected by Toy Shop Japanese Auto. He did say that these brakes need to be done. Well, the pads are good, but the rotors, this car has 120,000 miles, and this is the original set of rotors on it. So yeah, they'll need to be done. So when I do my next brake change, pad change, I'll do the full set. I've had the car at Firestone, at Toy Shop Japanese Auto, at the Auto Lounge in Brazelton, Georgia. He's the Lexus tech that is the go-to guy for me on this car. So one thing I want to point out is that the alignment, when I took it to Firestone, because of the stance of the car is not lowered. This is the stock height of the car. So the 20s feel the wheel well. So I had my stock rims on there at the time I took it for an alignment, and he came out and said, hey, I can't adjust. It was the caster or the camber that he couldn't adjust because of the way Lexus designed the car. And it left me, in the red on those spots, a couple spots. The car drove straight, but then I took it to long tires and brakes and tires, just up the street. It's just another unrelated reason. And I asked them about it and said, hey, yeah, we can get it straight. And they got them all in. They got everything go green on it, and the car drives all the better for it. So expect to hear people say, you need the, alignment, you need to get adjustable. You can get the adjustable control arms and adjustable, ball joints and everything that's available to tune it. The car is not lowered yet. So once the car does get lowered, I'm sure I'll need all those things to really get the tire straight. So, just ask questions and ask around if you're getting the runaround on getting your alignments. But other than that, my oil changes every 5,000 miles, 5 to 6,000 miles. Spark plugs, I'm gonna stay on top of that. I watch how the car runs. Usually there's a ballpark number, but the original plugs were in the car, and it had almost 100,000 miles on it. So that tells me something too. I bought a 2017 Camaro in December 2016, and they say, yeah, those plugs are 100,000 miles. It's like, in my mind, there's no way in hell I'm leaving spark plugs in a car for 100,000 miles. Not me personally. I'm not doing it. I just refuse. I left them in for 35,000 and then changed them. So that's as long as I've ever gone. It ran good, but I noticed it changed by the time I got to 35 grand. So same thing with these. I pay that close of attention to how the car runs and starts, that I'll know, intuitively when I need to change them based on when I did. So, but I won't go more than 30 grand on a set of plugs. It's not, I'll do the job. If you don't want to pay for it, I understand, but I'll do the job, do the work myself. The headlights, everything electrically works great on the car. The headlights are active steering, so at night with them on, they do look around the corner for you. Again, I'd read about it, and then when I physically saw it doing it, I was like, yeah, that's cool. So this car has just been fun. I can't stress that enough. The stance, the look, the performance, it's good on the highway with these 20s. My ride is no more rougher with these 20s on than when I have the 18s that are the stock tires. Yeah, when I hit a particular pothole, that's where okay, I got 20s on the car. But other than that, if I'm on a smooth flat road, you wouldn't know if I had 20s or 19s or 18s or whatever else on here. And these tires, the rubber, they are Lexus. Now I did run into an issue with these rims. I clipped a curb, smacked the rim pretty good, had to replace it. A shop I went to is so pissed at Giovanna that he didn't want to deal with them. So I just ordered it I just paid cash. I bought them from Audio City, USA. I just paid cash for them. So, I got a discount by paying cash up front. I didn't finance them. So I clipped the rim and I had to replace it for $350, the back one. And I financed it through them just because I didn't want to shell out the cash. It was during this month. It was Christmas. So, but yeah, I'll just pay cash for it this month and knock it off. But it was an inquiry that goes on my credit report. Oh well, it's going to give me an account opened and closed and paid for. So it'll give me a little bump. And then the tires are Lexus. I've driven them since September of 2019. It's now January 2020, and I ain't had no blowouts or no craziness with some of these. Some people see the tires like these, the companies don't put the quality in them. I get it. I'm not taking this set of tires to the track, obviously. So for street driving, they've been great. They're quiet. They've been great. They have 4 and 5-star ratings on Amazon. I've already bought a replacement. I bought an extra set of replacement tires for the rear and for the front just to have on hand in case I do get a blowout or a nail or something that's in the sidewall, damage to the sidewall. So, and they're less than $100 per. So again, I'm not taking it to the track, but it's good just to get around town as daily driving. So other than that, that's my 2 cents for what it's worth. If you're looking to buy an ISF, I got this car for $18,900 with 98,000 miles on it in Atlanta, Georgia. So you can do the market pricing on it. My insurance, I have USAA, so I have multi-car discount. So it was more expensive than my Camaro. I would actually say it's no more expensive than the G35 I had. So per month, had a clean driver record. I have a ticket now, but it's not reflecting on my insurance yet. So other than that, the car is just magnificent and it's worth every penny. And the one thing I will add is the differential. It does not have the limited slip differential. 08 and 09 didn't come with that. So 2010 to 14 did. So that's going to be $2,100 to get a 2010 or newer differential, and I've been quoted around $750 to have it installed. Drain plug serviced, everything double checked to make sure nothing's crazy. So $3,000 into it, and I'll have a limited slip differential. And yeah, then with the way it's sitting now, that means the Mustang and new Camaro, I got challenged by a 2018 Camaro SS, and I told him what was up. It's like, when I get this limited slip differential, I'm gonna run you. But right now, hell, well, you may even get off the line. You're gonna get off the line before me because the torque curve on SS is a lot lower at its peak than these cars are. But if it's a roll and go, it'd be a surprise run. Yeah, I'm pretty confident I'll run down a Mustang GT or a damn Camaro SS, or stay with them well enough that it's not going to be an easy win if they do win. But once I have an LSD differential on here, the way this thing's running, people, RR Racing has dynos up on their car, on their website, about with all the mods on the car, what their research has put out. So if I'm at anywhere near 500 at the engine and putting down 420, 430 foot-pounds of torque in that equation, then yeah, it's a comparable run, to say the least, up against a stock SS or a stock Camaro SS or a stock Mustang GT. I know once you start tuning them, it just changes the game. But I can respect that. I'm not in it to win it. Not with this car. I have a Hayabusa for that purpose. You know, you can go fast in four wheels all you want, you know, unless you're rolling a damn 1,000 horsepower car, you know, because those keep up with Hayabusas, you know, or McLaren. So yeah, and I'm gonna buy probably the BMW 1000 S1000R next. So yeah, so we can talk speed in another application. But this car definitely embodies it, gives it, and then I can just keep it in normal mode and not put it in sport mode and just drive it and enjoy it. And paddle shifters, manual shifting, the transmission rev matches, so I don't lose RPMs when I'm shifting. Yeah, and then as it's shifting, the thing is, the way it sounds when it's shifting, it's almost if you're driving a stick. Just the way it sounds when you go wide open throttle, the transmission shifts as if you're driving a stick. So, but just synced fast, boom, 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 hits the gears and it pauses. It's not a, it's you know, you can really get that feel, that sound of driving this car. Like, yeah, really enjoy it. So that's my 2 cents. Tony Davenport, for what it's worth, on a 2008 Lexus ISF.